right, everybody. Was this the greatest motion picture ever? No. Was it the worst motion picture ever? No. Should you check it out? Hell yeah. Let's do it. All right, today we're taking a look back at the classic from 1980, The Hearse. But before we go any further, as always, once and again, to the trailer.
The barrier between life and death is no greater than the thickness of a door. And now, the door is open. Crown International Pictures presents The Hearse.
Welcome to Blackford. You plan on staying very long?
Well, I'm not exactly sure yet. Maybe for the summer.
A beautiful woman trying to escape her past.
When my marriage ended, I nearly cracked up.
Becomes trapped in a past far more terrible than her own.
I know what your aunt did here. She worshipped the devil.
He believes we can live forever, even beyond death.
What diabolical forces are manipulating her life?
I am possessed. I am possessed.
That locket,
Oh, it belonged to my aunt.
I wouldn't show it to too many people if I were you. It's the devil's sign.
Why is she being pursued by a phantom on wheels?
The hearse that carried your aunt's body crashed. It exploded into flames. Stranger than that, there was no sign of the driver or your aunt's coffin.
What horrifying destiny will be fulfilled when at last she encounters the hearse?
What do you want?
An ancient house.
It's haunted. And you're a ghost.
A classic car.
It's still roaming the old county road in search of victims.
You're not gonna get me! You're not! You're not!
A terrifying confrontation with evil.
Cast thy servant death into hell!
Trish Van Devere. Joseph Cotten.
Anybody there?
The Hearse. A classic experience in fright.
Okay, this gem was directed by George Bowers. Now, he did some movies that you might remember. He did stuff like My Tutor and Private Resort and Body and Soul, but he was mostly a film editor, you know what I mean? He did most of his work in the editing room. He did stuff like Shoot to Kill and League of Their Own and Sleeping with the Enemy and Deuce Bigalow and From Hell. So, long career, good career. Mostly was behind the scenes as an editor, not a director, but he did some directing too. He directed this, and that's all that matters. Let's get at the cast. Okay, playing Jane Hardy was Trish Van Devere. Now, Trish Van Devere, long career. Oh, shit, that rhymed. Well, she was married to George C. Scott, and she was in a movie we just did a couple episodes ago, The Changeling, one of the all-time greats. But she was in some other stuff, too. She was in stuff like Where's Papa and The Last Run and Day of the Dolphin and One is the Lonely Number. And she was on stuff on TV like Search for Tomorrow and One Life to Live and Highway to Heaven and Hardcastle and McCormick and the great, stupid piece of shit, but great, The Fall Guy with Lee Majors. So she had a good career, long career, did a bunch of stuff, big screen, little screen, around the scene. That's all that matters. Let's keep going. Okay, playing Mr. Pritchard was Joseph Cotten. Come on, man. Huge career. We're talking Citizen Kane. We're talking Soylent Green. We're talking The Third Man and Lady Frankenstein and The Abominable Mr. Thebes and The Money Trap, The Great Sioux Massacre, Beyond the Forest, Journey into Fear. So many things. Long career. This one, he had a good time playing a crotchety old fuck. Did it well, did it awesome like he always does. Boom, let's keep going. Okay, playing Tom was David Gautreaux. Now, For me, he'll always be remembered for one thing. He was in the beginning of Star Trek: The Motion Picture. He was one of the people on that one space station that got like whacked out and everything. But he was really supposed to be on the reboot of Star Trek. I think it was like Star Trek Phase 2 or whatever they were supposed to call it, where they relaunched the TV series, but then they wound up making it into a movie and launching that all over again. But he was supposed to be in that. And that's all he wound up doing, really, was Star Trek: The Motion Picture, where he got killed. And popping up some here and there. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. He was in some other stuff, too. Mostly TV work. He was in stuff like Man from Atlantis and T.J. Hooker and Airwolf and The Fall Guy and One Life to Live and Melrose Place, and, Young and the Restless, Hawaii Five-0 and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's so funny. I'm thinking about Man from Atlantis. Man, that's such a classic, goofy thing that gets forgotten. Whatever. I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, playing Sheriff Denton was Med Flory. Now, Med Flory, again, one of those guys, mostly TV. Really, I mean, and a lot of cowboy stuff at that. He was in stuff like Rawhide and Maverick and The Virginian, and he was on the Dukes of Hazzard and Alice and How the West Was Won and Lassie and Perry Mason and Mannix, and he was even on a show called Carter Country, which gets criminally overlooked. It was a great little funny comedy show from years ago. Handle it, right? Handle it. If you ever seen it, you'd laugh your ass off. It was a good time. It gets forgotten. I don't know if anybody even shows the thing anymore. But anyway, he was on that, in it. And he was in a bunch of stuff, whatever. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, playing the Reverend was Donald Hotton. Now, again, not a big movie career, mostly TV work, but a lot of TV work. He was on stuff like Airwolf and Tucker's Witch and Falcon Crest and The Waltons and Dark Shadow. But he was in some movies you might like. He was in The China Syndrome and Brainstorm and Nightwing, which is about all the bats and everything. Run through the desert with Nick Mancuso. And I'm going to cover that at some point because that was a cool little goofy flick. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, sidetrack. Let's keep going. Okay, playing Luke was Donald Petrie. Now, he had a career that was really huge. And you're not going to think about it because you're going to be like, oh, what the hell was he ever in? I don't remember him that much stuff past, that certain era of time. But he went on to be a big-time director. He directed motion pictures like, Grumpy Old Man and Mystic Pizza and Miss Congeniality and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And yeah, we all will remember his face because he was on stuff like The Incredible Hulk and Policewoman and Buck Rogers and Black Sheep Squadron and BJ and the Bear and Three's Company and a bunch of other stuff. But he will always also be remembered for being in a great little movie from long ago called Hots. H.O.T.S. Hots. Ooh. We'll get to that movie at some point in time, too. Bet your ass on that. Okay, playing Pete was Christopher McDonald. Now, Christopher McDonald you'll probably recognize, immediately. He's got that face he looked then like he looks now. And, a couple more wrinkles and shit like that, but who really cares? Anyway, Christopher McDonald's had a long career. He was in everything from, like, Grease 2. Take that for what it's worth. He was in Where the Boys Are and Thelma and Louise and Grumpy Old Man and Fatal Instinct and Happy Gilmore and Requiem for a Dream and Leave It to Beaver and Terminal Velocity. He was in so much stuff. And he did a bunch of TV work, too. So, the face. He's recognizable the second you see him. Anyway, whatever. Let's just get to the story. Okay, folks. Here's the story. I'm going to try to do this in 90 seconds or less. So let's get to the point. There's a girl. Her name is Jane. She's going through a rough patch. Her mom just passed away. Her husband left her. She's seeing a psychiatrist. She's stressed out to the max. Well, she decides she needs to get away from it all. Her psychiatrist says, hey, your problems are going to be here when you get back. She says, I don't give a flying shit. I'm out of here. I need some time away. So she goes out to the house where her deceased aunt used to live, that her deceased aunt used to own, until she willed it to her mom, who apparently never visited the place. But anyway, she drives out to this town, which is in the middle of East Bumfuck. When she gets there, she realizes nobody wants her there. Nobody needs her there. Nobody appreciates her there. And she's generally blown off. Either way, they don't want her, they don't need her, and they'd rather have well enough left alone. So she gets there, she finds out that her aunt used to be a Satanist and a devil worshiper. And she had a boyfriend who was a Satanist, and a devil worshiper. And when she mysteriously died, the hearse that was taking her to the funeral, or to I don't know where the hell they were going. It doesn't really say in the movie. They were going to the funeral, they were going to the plot, they were going someplace. But wherever they were going, it burst into flames, and the wreckage of the car was there, and her body was never found. Anyway, somehow she meets this new guy. He comes into her life, and he's her dream boy. He's everything she ever wanted. But the guy's kind of creepy, and the guy's kind of weird. Now, there's some things about this guy that I'm not going to tell you, but I'm just going to tell you this. Might have something to do with the ants. I don't know. Anyway, you get the idea. You get the gist of this. You probably figured it out. It doesn't really make a difference. The story is what I just told you. Let's move on. Okay, folks, I'm going to tell you why I like this motion picture. This motion picture is one of those flicks that has that late 70s vibe to it. It's totally got that right kind of morose, melancholy feel. It never really perks up or gets into anything other than what it is. It never really veers out of the lane that it's supposed to be in. Actually, because it's so devoid of sex and violence and even bad language, it kind of feels like a TV movie, kind of like, like Devil Dog Hound of Hell would feel, or maybe even Gargoyles, which was a complete classic. It feels like a TV movie, but it's not. It was just a well-done, well-schooled, well-crafted little flick. A little haunted horror story, a little haunted house, a little ghosts, a little possession, a little whatever you want to call it. I shouldn't say possession, more like seduction type of movie. And it is well-crafted, fairly well-acted, fairly well directed, fairly well edited. The music's okay, can be a little bit heavy-handed at times, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's a nice, solid little horror thriller ghost story from beginning to end that never wavers, never breaks away. It's one of those motion pictures I should point out. It kind of has that feel to it, the way it moves along. Kind of like I'm not comparing it to it, but kind of like a Phantasm would or something like that. It just has that right morose kind of vibe. Sometimes I didn't really jump at it that much or think it was frighteningly scary, but then again, I'm a little bit jaded. My wife, because we just watched this thing again before, so I can review it and make it fresh in my mind, she jumped at least 7 or 8 times. She was scared at the right moments. Everything kind of worked the way it should. So, in essence, is this the greatest ghost story movie you ever seen? No. Is it bad? No. Is it enjoyable? Yeah. Should you check it out? Of course you should. It's one of those movies you should look back at, take a glimpse on, have an hour and a half with, hour and 39 minutes actually, and just enjoy yourself. If there's plot holes, overlook them. If there's loose ends, like what the hell happens to the preacher, forget about it. Just roll with it, have a good time, enjoy it for what it is, sink yourself into it, and remember, this wasn't supposed to be, a fucking Changeling or something that was on that level. It's just a fun little jaunt, an innocent little flick. It's actually a horror movie you can almost watch with anybody in the family, really, because it's devoid of anything really bad. It's not bloody or it's not perverted. It just is what it is. Fun, entertaining, is what it is. You'll enjoy it. You'll have a good time. Check out the Hearse. Oh, yeah. One last thing. What was with all the guys in this town? Why were they all so crazy over Trish Van Devere? I mean, she's cute and shit, but they were kind of like freaking stalking her. You know what I'm saying? It's like they didn't want to drive her out of town because they wanted the house or something. I mean, the sheriff was up her ass. All those young guys were up her ass. Everybody was up her ass. I don't get it. I mean, she's all right looking, but Jesus Christ, she's not Raquel Welch. Was she the only chick they ever seen? The only woman that ever lived in that town? I don't think I ever seen any other women in the movie. Maybe that was it. Well, that old chick at the church and went to the store or whatever. What was going on? It was like, all right. Okay, folks, everybody take care of yourselves. Look out for yourselves. Look out for everybody else. And above all things, don't ever take no bullshit from nobody. Gotta go. Thanks a lot for checking out the video. If everything looks a little bit different, my other camera's down, so I had to film it on a different piece of machinery. Hope it works out. Whew, this is my second time doing it. The whole first one got dumped. The hard drive got wiped. Oh, man. Whatever. Hope it came across all right. Take care, people.